Hi there, Karen here, with my buddy Whiskey Sour, my partner in crime. I wrote a blog today called, How Do You Feel About Getting Older? And I expect quite a few answers on this. My response is, I'm only 8. I don't think about that. So with the exception of making plans for my 9th birthday, I barely look ahead. This is something that I always see people and hear people talking about, so every once in a while I'll bring it up. But there seems to be 3 types of people. There's the ones who want to grow old gracefully, whatever that means. We haven't established what gracefully means yet. There's the ones who try to fight it every step of the way. And then there's the ones who don't even notice. Usually me, I'm like, what? What? I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't notice. Some of it's the airhead blonde thing, and some of it's just, wow, I'm just too busy for that. If you were to ask people straight out, just go up and ask them to your friends, how do you feel about getting older? Nobody seems to want to admit that they hate the idea, but they will give you a response that pretty much translates into, I hate it. For the record, I don't ask this too often because really, who cares? You know, like, what, do you think that some skin product is going to actually stop you from your next birthday coming? But I think it can prompt us to take a look at some of the deeper issues that people have. And that's usually what happens with me, is I don't think a simple question is going to address something directly. Sometimes that question just is telltale about some of the things that are deep-rooted underneath. So that's quite often why I will ask questions like that. Middle age is perhaps more of a hurdle than old age. And I guess people want to be new wine or they want to be fine wine. But nobody wants to see they don't want to see this whole process of making wine, which happens in between. Nobody wants to see your feet going in. Do people still do that with their feet? You know, that's the thing, is we want to be thought of as that new bottle on the shelf, or we want to be thought of as the fine wine that you just, that's saved for a special occasion. But nobody wants to see the process of how do you get from here to there. I'm really interested in the process and the journey. That's a big thing for me. If you've ever had someone walk into the room when you were renovating, you know, when you're chipping paint off the wall, and I think a lot of the time we feel like we need to explain that, oh, don't worry, it's going to get better. That great big hole in the drywall is going to be all put I'm going to fill that in with some drywall paste, and don't worry, I'm going to put this awesome finish on it, and it's going to be great. Most people don't want people to see that because people freak out. And we're scared that they're just going to shake their head and leave the room. And then we're going to be like, oh, they don't get it, you know, they don't get it yet. And the same paranoia happens with middle age. We don't want friends seeing us with no makeup because they will never believe we're good for anything until we get our makeup on. This is the mindset, but I hate it. And it was Barbara Hershey who had said, I'm not afraid of aging, but more afraid of people's reaction to my aging. Isn't that sad? It's like, that's what you're worried about? So, well, okay, if you're okay with the aging thing, but you're concerned about people's reaction to it, oh, wow. Like, just gotta get those blinders on, get people out of the peripheral again. But surgery and makeup and all the things we do to ensure people think that we're still young, like, we hope to somehow jump ahead 40 years into full maturity without anybody noticing. People seem to love the lines of the faces of old people. If you've ever seen somebody that's like really old, like remember that woman in Titanic, the really old lady? Like I found myself just looking at all the lines in her face, and even outside of her being an actress or the role they had her in as the Titanic, I'm just thinking, this particular woman, what a life she's lived and what she's seen, from, you know, just the wheel to war to everything that has happened in her life. It's pretty cool to think that all those lines represent something, and most of us can agree that we respect old people and the lines in their faces because there's so much character, and we love that. But if you don't look all majestic and wise, you know, you just better go have your skin tucked about an inch up into your forehead. Just to fool everybody into thinking you're perpetually 20, because apparently you're either only good when you're 20 or when you're 80, and that's it. And this whole process that happens, this journey that happens in between, just kind of gets sloughed under the carpet. Nobody wants to see that. But like the process of wine making, everyone wants to be there when you build your cellar, the initial stages, and they want it to come when you're doing the taste testing of the wine. But nobody, again, I guess, wants to see the feet in there. Horrible analogy. But for many people, middle age threatens the relationship. It wouldn't even take the hottest man in the People magazine to steal somebody's wife. It's not even that. It might just take a man who has 10 pounds less around his middle to threaten it. And if you're 45, a woman who's 35 could pose a threat to your marriage. The deeper people go into middle age, the more paranoid they can get. It gets to the point of silly almost. Then there's the people who just feel like the relationship is just lackluster because they themselves are aging. You may have no plans to leave your partner, but maybe you're bored. And for many people, they just don't feel healthy enough. They don't feel energetic enough. And you know what? A lot of people have been so browbeaten, they aren't able to find that excitement of their youth again. I think it's vitally important to remember that life offers different chapters at different stages for a reason. My concern is that we are again distracted by our past, that we don't see our present day. And a 45-year-old person doesn't have to do 20-year-old things to feel alive. In fact, most people that age will tell you they have no interest in going out on the town and doing all those kinds of things. I don't believe the goal when you're 45 is to stay as young as possible or even stay young in your mind, like we keep saying. But at 45 years old, you should just be experiencing whatever's going on with you at that point in your life. Like, you'll hear people say, oh, age is just a number, you know, with the intent of just ignoring it. I have managed to ignore numbers in life, as I've mentioned before. I do it all the time. It's just, I guess it's not that they're not important. They just don't really faze me or dawn on me, that's all. But your number does represent your experience. You have an experience, which means you have a certain amount of right to talk with a certain amount of authority, at least some authority. You can inspire others. You can make others really scared of aging. These are the choices that we have. And so that's the kind of power you hold. You can horrify somebody who's on their way up to your age, just have them really super scared, or you can inspire them. And the problem is that we just believe the only way to inspire others when we get older is to do young things. And then they'll say, oh, she's so fit for being 45. Like, those are the kinds of things we hear ourselves saying. I don't believe that is a way to inspire. That's not the best way to inspire. A good way to inspire somebody is to smile. You know, you can inspire by being super loving. You can inspire by being non-judgmental and compassionate. You can inspire by being a good friend and a good family member. You can inspire by being really genuine and really thoughtful. And you can inspire by being confident with yourself no matter how old you are, how young you are, or what number is attached to that. That's the inspiration. That's what you can present to others. That's what you can share with others. And I personally don't think a lot about getting older, but I am digging my more mellow state. I have way more of a sense of peace, and I feel pretty cool. You know, when I work on music or art, it's not mellow. It's pretty intense and pretty crazy. But that's not my young spirit, even though I talk a lot about my inner child kind of escaping and jumping around and doing all these crazy things. But I only make that reference to the childlike spirits because I believe in childhood discovery and the whole feeling of just being a kid who discovers, not because my skin's smooth or all these sorts of things. And you know what? I'm not going to put sparkles and stars and Hello Kitty pictures all over my page to make me feel younger. I have no interest in getting younger. Just none. I have no interest in that. I have a great interest, though, in discovery, in my journey, in just moving forward. And to me, the more I age, I'm finding that the more focused I'm becoming on discovering. The more focused I am on discovering and the person I am discovering. So this is, to me, super fun. Just you know, seeing things for the first time again, almost. Just looking at things through a new lens. I think all that stuff's super fun to me. And you know what, truthfully, I don't even drink wine. Like, you know, making these wine references, it seems like that's something you gotta really sit still for. I don't know. I think if that's something you love, awesome. But Yeah, I don't even drink it. I don't know why I'm making that reference. But I signed off today saying, loving today, whatever day that is, sometime in December, sometime in the early 2000s. I don't know. I have a Hilaire Belloc quote I want to share with you. And she lived to be in her 80s. Poet, English poet. I have wandered all my life, and I have also traveled. The difference between the two being this, that we wander for distraction, but we travel for fulfillment. And that quote is so freaking awesome to me, because this is a woman who sometimes as we get older, we think, oh, what's going to distract me today? What could take up my time today? What could fill in some holes and just, you know, take up all the time of my day so that I won't be bored out of my skull? That's our general approach. She's saying travel for fulfillment. Travel, discovery, move ahead, check out things, really learn, get excited, read, do all these things that that are fun, the things that you enjoy, not just to eat up the time in your day and pass the time. That's the phrase I was looking for. I'm not interested in passing the time. I'm interested in experiencing the time. So I love Hilaire's quote at the end of that. I think that's great. And of course, I always love hearing a quote like that from somebody, you know, who lived to be in her 80s. I'm not sure at what point in her life she said it. Maybe she said it when she was 15, I don't know. But I assume she said it when she's older. And I love reading quotes like that from older people. But you know what? Everybody out there, no matter how old you are, you can speak with some sort of authority about the experiences that you have had. And you should feel really confident about that. You know, this is where I am in my life, and this is who I am, and this is what I've been through, and this is what I've experienced. And you know what? I'm really excited about what's coming next. I think that's a great attitude to have. So people like Hilaire really do inspire me. And of course, you guys continue to inspire me. Reading just all your comments and your loving quotes you leave me and all those things that you leave on my pages. I'm really inspired by our group and our community. And I really don't have a clue how old everybody is. It's just a bunch of people. And I know it's not a bunch of teenagers. I know it's not a bunch of old people. I know it's not a bunch of middle-aged people. It just seems to be this wide array of people and spirits who have just found each other. And we just have chopped that number out altogether. And that's pretty cool. Because when I was younger, you didn't want to be, if you were 15 years old, you didn't want to be hanging out with anybody over the age of 30. And it's too bad, because you can learn something from those people. I do remember as a child, though, loving hanging out with my grandparents and thinking that they were just completely awesome. Just very, very cool people. And I learned an awful lot from them. So anyway, as I blither on and on and on, I don't know how you guys put up with me. Seriously. So here's Whiskey. Looking a little bit like a bummer, but check out that picture that I think it was Fernando left on my page for me. His little drawing, it was so cute. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. I'm excited to go do whatever I have to do with my day today. I got a laundry list of stuff to do. So I will talk with you guys again tomorrow. And of course, until next time, rock on.